cut off. But anyway, like back to what I was saying. Why would you scrap C class and B class ships when the amount of nanites that you can get from the upgrades aren't comparable to what you can get from A class and S class? So this is basically the amount of nanites I got from this ship that I just scrapped. Let's see what we're gonna get from that. So 311 for a shield, 295, 300. So that's pretty much 900 nanites right there, just from a 1A class ship. And that's common. You know what I'm saying? If you come to a wealthy system, A classes come in a lot. Right now, not that many ships are coming in here. And really, that's good for us, because what we can do now, since we already found the exotic in the system, let's go to a different wealthy system and see if we can, you know, try this method more extensively, and maybe we could potentially find another exotic in another system. So let's keep let's see. Wow, yeah, those are way too far, because I'm in a ship, my other ship has all of the hyperdrives, or the warp, better warp systems than the one I'm in right now. So let's see, I'm in this system right here. That's a level 3 quality system. Okay, here, let's go here. I don't think I found the exotic for this system, so we're gonna try this system. I'm surprised that the exotic I found in the system I was in was the one I found, because I've been in that system for a while. I thought that this blue one I was in was the one that I found in that system, so maybe I was in a whole different system. I didn't even know. But that's crazy. I must have, because I've been in that system. That system is one of my systems that I farm material for my stasis devices. So I would have thought that as long as I've been in that system, where I have like 5-6 bases in that one system, I would have assumed that I had already found the exotic at the space station at that system by now. But it goes to show you, like, you know, I haven't really, you know, been paying that much attention to what space stations I go to. So yeah, because there's so many, you know, many planets and stuff. It's hard to keep track of everything in this game. But anyway, we're in a new wealthy state system. I'm not sure what it is, if it's like a fluent or whatever the name of it is, but oh wow, alien gun. Oh my goodness. A class. Oh wow, this is not that great, but that's pretty crazy. If you want this gun, here goes some coordinates. Let's A class gun. If you ever want a gun that looks like that, go ahead and come to this system. Alright, let's see what came in. We got an A class for the cheap. Wow, look how cheap that. Look, even that Explorer is cheap. What about this one? A class, all of these. I could buy all 3 of these right now. So let's go. Hopefully I can hurry up and do it before he leaves, because you know, the longer you take buying ships, the quicker they'll try to leave before you get a chance to Alright. Okay, let's hurry up. Come here. Come here, boy. Come on, man. I hate when they get caught up in the ship. That makes me irritated sometimes, because I don't be aiming like the aiming in this game. Oh, see, I didn't get a chance. So that happens sometimes. Whenever you end up taking a little bit too long, you might let a good cheap ship get away from you. So, and there are differences in the types of materials and stuff that you can get back from like certain ships, because explorers, I'm not sure that if they give a higher percent of augments versus shuttles, but that could be a factor too that I don't know about. Like, I'm not sure if it's just because if you have an A class, then the A class will give you augments, or if it has to do with the ship too, because that could play a part in it as well. Like, if you sell an A class explorer versus an A class shuttle, an A class explorer might give back more percentage chance of you getting storage augments than a shuttle could. Because if you know the differences between ships in this game, shuttles can only be either small or medium, and they only can have a maximum of 28 slots, I think. Whereas every other ship can either have like a large, I think, or better, besides maybe exotics. I think exotics are pretty much just whatever they are. Like, they might just be all small, or I don't know for sure. I'm not sure what exotic sizes are, but they come like at that basic size. But anyways, exotics aren't even really like you don't really have to put them in the same category. Just the standard ships that you find: explorers, fighters, shuttles. Haulers are, haulers are not even really important when it comes to this method. Like, you should, if you see a cheap hauler, then that is like great for you, but that's really rare, and those aren't really even efficient in this method, so I would just ignore those most of the time. Like, you can check them out if you want to, so you might even find a cool design if you like haulers and you want to buy one or whatever, but that's just, at your discretion. But other than that, like, that's a hauler, right? Or is that a hauler? That's either a fighter or a hauler. I think that's a hauler though. Let's see. I bet you it's gonna be expensive. Oh, that's a shuttle. Wait, no, that's a hauler. Let's see. It has the shuttle front, but yeah, that's a hauler. Look, almost 18 million because of the storage space. The more storage space, plus it's a hauler. Haulers are always expensive, so 17 million. I'm not paying 17 million for an A class when I only had to spend what, 1.6 million for an A class. And of course this has more storage, so that's why it's more expensive, but we're not even worried about the storage. But there is something that I don't know for sure, and this has kind of made me wonder. It's the more storage space that a ship has, is that what gives you the higher percentage chance of getting free augments when you scrap it? So that, I'm not sure how to even figure that out. But if anybody knows, the more storage space that you have when you scrap a ship, is that why you have such a higher percentage chance of getting augments regardless of the class? Because that could be something that I'm not even aware of, and somebody else might be able to give me some further information on that. So yeah, that could be a thing. So somebody else, if you want to test that out, let me know if you ever test it out. So anyways, but just, from the method I've been doing, it's been working pretty good for me. Like, you see how many nanites I have, you see how many modules I have on my ship, on my exotic. Like, you see proof that my method works, and it works very well. Like, just look at this ship, man. Look at the inventory. All of these, I've had way more. Like, I've had this full of stuff, but I've sold just so I can have extra nanites for whenever I needed them. But you see how many augments I have. Let's see if I even got another augment. That A class didn't give us one. So yeah, like I said, sometimes you don't get them. But anyway, let me put this in here right quick. But yeah, this used to be full of upgrades, and I'm keeping some of these for future ships. But anyways, these S's all go for around 500 a piece. So that's why it's pretty efficient to scrap S-class ships if you can. It's not always going to be easy to find S-class ships, but whenever you get the chance to, you can either choose to keep the upgrades for yourself, like me, or you can just scrap them. But I'm doing pretty good just by scrapping A-class upgrade, or selling A-class upgrade modules to the merchant. And you see, like, you know, of course, I probably sold S classes and all different kind of classes of upgrades that I had. So this isn't a reflection of like what you can expect, like how many nanites you can expect to have like in a small period of time. But just from what I did today, that one ship that I sold not too long ago was already 900 nanites on just one ship, because that was an A-class ship with 3 upgrade modules that were about 300 a piece. So imagine spending 1 point whatever, maybe 3 million at the most, right? You end up getting 3 upgrade modules that are A-class, and you can sell them for 300 a piece, which would be almost 1,000 nanites, right? And then you just keep buying A-class after A-class after A-class. That 1,000 nanites, or about 1,000 nanites over an hour. Imagine if you just bought 10 ships in an hour, or you know, you should be able to buy more than that. But let's just say you get unlucky, you buy 10 A-class ships in an hour. If one ship can give you about 900 nanites, then that's almost 10,000 nanites in an hour. And that's really if you get unlucky. But I doubt you can definitely buy more than 10 ships in an hour if you really are just efficiently buying ships, taking away whatever's in here, going over here, scrapping the ship, claim it, whatever. You're gonna see the significant drop in price of what it's worth, whatever the value, but don't worry about that, you know. And then sell whatever you want to this guy or whoever you decide to go to. And then let's see, wow, 600. So that means there's probably a stack of 2 of these. And then there's probably a stack of, oh, because I had from the other ship I scrapped. So yeah, so look at that, just stacks. And let's see, did I get any storage? I don't think I got any storage augments out of there. So, you know, you're not always gonna get storage augments, but at least if you're not getting storage augments, you're getting nanites. So in the process of you you know, getting nanites, you have the possibility of getting storage augments. Like this ship right here, let's see how much I would lose. I know this is a little bit more expensive, but this is a still decent price for what you're getting back in return. Like, even though this is 4.6 million, this isn't an ideal ship to pay for. So technically I wouldn't recommend you buying more like this, but this is still cheap compared to what you would spend if you were to upgrade a ship. What, like I'll show you like how much it costs just to upgrade one slot on any ship, no matter what. And it's more expensive every like every time you scrap a ship. If you have more cargo on that ship versus another ship, the more cargo spaces that you already have unlocked, the more expensive that the ship price for an extra cargo slot is going to cost you, most likely. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on that, but just from what I've seen on YouTube and stuff like that, when a person have a high amount of cargo space, whenever they try to upgrade to another cargo space, it's pretty expensive. So you can do a little bit more in-depth look on some stuff on the internet, online, if you want to really make sure that that's accurate. But From what my experiences, that's pretty accurate from what I've been able to see in my investigations and experiments and stuff like that. So yeah, um, so yeah, a lot of the stuff I do is like just eyeballing stuff. I'm not really. Sometimes I'll go online and I'll look at different sites or do some different little researching things here and there, but most of the time I'm just doing this like improvising, a lot of improvising and stuff like that, just on my own, experimenting and stuff like that. But let's see, this is an A-class ship. You guys can see the prices. You guys can keep track of all that. Like, I'm just doing this just to kind of give you an idea. So I'm not really paying that much attention to like the prices, but like if you guys go back in the video, you guys can keep track of like what I spent, how efficient it is compared to what other people have said on YouTube, and you know, whatever method works better for you guys, that's the one you can go with. But this one is just really it's not you won't, to me it can be boring depending on the type of person you are. To me, I really don't really get bored at all by doing this, because you're at suspense. Like, you keep yourself in suspense because you always have the opportunity or the potential to find a ship that's cool. Like, this ship could be like somebody's favorite ship or something. Like, you go to a different system, like, oh, whoa, I've been looking for a yellow ship, and then even if it's a C class, you can always upgrade it. You can upgrade the class of any ship. So you keep yourself in suspense just by being at a space station or any place where ships come. You have a potential to find whatever kind of ship you like. You don't have to be exotic. Like me personally, I've been looking for different exotics. Just personally, either the squid exotic or the I call these the hummingbird exotic, swordfish. Some people call them swordfish. But you have the potential to just find a ship that you like just by being at a space station. That's number one. Then you're keeping yourself in suspense because, you know, you're just like, you know, what's coming in? Is it going to be an A class? Is it going to be an S? And you see these ships come in and out consistently. Like some space stations are slower than others, but depending on the system, like if you go to a wealthy system, a lot of times I haven't really seen like any slow space stations. Like, there have been times where space stations are empty for some people, and I've even been in space stations where not many ships come in at all. Like, but I'm not sure what, that's probably RNG, but for the most part, ships come in and out, in and out, in and out. Like, as long as there's space in here, like hopefully, you know, when you guys have ships come in here, you won't have to really worry about having these extra ships in your freighter, because I have 3 ships, so every time you sell a ship, you have a chance of like them just default bringing another ship from your freighter in here that you might not want in here, like this one. This is just in here, taking up room from other ships to come in here. So if you have the convenience of only having one ship, that is probably going to be the best ideal situation for you, because you won't have to worry about any of these other spaces being taken up by an extra ship that you don't want in here. But it is what it is. Like, you know, if you have more ships, usually they won't keep bringing ships that, as long as you, like, if you came in here with this ship and then they brought in another ship like this, oh, there goes the S. And I actually will buy that. It's 20 million. I do recommend against buying ships, but it is an S class, and if you want to get the nanites for it, I'm gonna lose units, but I have units to spare, so for me it's not a big deal. Like I have, you see how much my units have dropped though. I was at 50 something million, now I'm down to 30 something. and I'm about to buy this for 20. So, but I'm gonna show you, because I haven't even sold all the scrap yet that I have, so that's why my money has dropped so much. And that's why I was telling you earlier in the first video, you're gonna need units. Units are gonna be something that you're gonna really need to have on hand if you really want to make the most out of this method. So whatever you have to do to get yourself to that point in the game, and this is really an ideal, I would suggest, like, if you could do this even before you get all the portal glyphs and everything like that, but if you are at that point in the game where you already have all the portal glyphs and you have like a save point at a portal somewhere, that's also gonna be helpful if you don't want to sit at a space station. If you just go on the No Man's Sky coordinates exchange, you will be able to get free ships, because whatever ships that they post on the No Man's Sky coordinates exchange, if you feel like you're willing to go to a portal and just warp to different crash ships, you won't have to spend any units at all. And that might even be helpful for people who, I'm not going to say early game, because I'm not sure how long you're going to have to go through the story, if you even have to go through the story to find a portal. But even if you, yeah, because you're going to need to get the portal glyphs, so I'm not sure if you have to complete the story to get all the glyphs or how that works. But you're going to need access to actually being able to use the portal. So however that works, that's gonna be a factor if you're gonna choose to go that route, where you go to No Man's Sky coordinates exchange on Reddit, or if you just find videos on YouTube that show you locations of crash ships, and you won't have to spend any money at all. You can end up finding any type of crash ship that could be S's or A classes or whatever it is for free. But it just, to me, that takes way longer, because you have to go to a portal, you have to warp, and those loading screens or whatever, those waiting screens when you're in the portal take so much time that you're going to be going from one, and you're only going to get one ship at a time. Like, you're not in here, you can buy multiple ships at a time, so you're making the most out of the time that you're spending going from ship to ship or whatever. Whereas if you go to a portal, you go into one ship, you're gonna warp, that's gonna take about 3 minutes, then you finally get out of there, then you buy it, you gotta, you know, do maintenance on the ship just to be able to fly it to a space station. Oh, look at this cheap ship. This is a Explorer for only 1.2 million. But anyways, so yeah, I wouldn't recommend that method personally, but if you don't have a lot of units, that might work better for you, because at least you're getting a free ship, you're selling it, and you're making a profit off of it. So you're actually going to be making money, because you got it for free, and whatever scraps that you sell, you actually are making money from those scraps that you didn't have to, you know, spend your own units on. So if you want to take that route, that's something, you know, that you could think about doing if you really want to do it like that. And there's nothing wrong with that method either. It's still the same exact thing, but it's just a little bit more time consuming. So other than that, and this is another thing, I'm not sure if the price has anything to do with storage augmentation, so we're gonna do a test with that right now. I bought this ship for 1.2, and at the moment I have 3 augmentations. So I'm gonna sell this ship, because we're gonna see if price plays a factor in if they'll give you a storage augmentation versus if you spend a little bit more money, will you get a storage augmentation, or will you have a higher chance of getting one? So let's see. 3 storage augmentations. Let's sell this $1.2 million ship. We're making back 8.6, so we lost what, about 400,000. I mean 40,000 or something like that. 400,000. All right, let's see. Did we get an augmentation back? Oh, they gave us one. So I guess price doesn't really play that much of a factor, because I mean it might, because if let's just say if that was a A-class ship that was worth 5 million, who knows if I would have got more than one augmentation from that. But usually A classes, I don't really expect them to drop multiple augments. Like when I scrapped that exotic, I got 3 out of just 1. So now we're gonna test this one, because this is actually a good test right here, even though this is the S class versus the A class. So it might not really be a good demonstration, but let's just see. We're gonna scrap this S class, which is significantly more expensive, and we'll see if price really plays a role on how many augments we'll get back. So we have 4 right now. We're gonna scrap it, and I actually like the color of this S class. Before I scrap it, let me go take a look at it real quick, because I actually, even though the design of it isn't that great, because there's not really much to look at when it comes to this. Like haulers have a lot more features than this. This is kind of like not really the best looking design, but I like the color scheme, because my colors, as you can see, are white, yellow, and black. But you know, there wasn't any gold. I would have had gold if I could, but I just, you know, had to settle for yellow. But I was trying to get the gold, white gold and black theme. So anyway, this is kind of like white, gold, and black. And even though I'm not even sure black is a color palette that you can actually access in this game yet, I'm not sure. This is more metal. I don't even think this is black. Like the only black is the windows, really. But I like this color scheme, even though it doesn't really have like a lot of those features that I like on the hauler, like the wing type. Like these are cool back wing. I don't know. If you're into haulers, you know, this would have been a cool one. Anyway, let's sell it. So yeah, you see that? 17 million, not paying for that. Alright, anyway. Alright, let's test this theory out. This is $20 million versus the $1.2 million Explorer we just sold. We got an augment out of that one. We have 4 augments now. I bought this for 20, so I lost 6 million because I only got to sell the scrap for 14 million. Let's see what happens. Wow, we had 4. They just gave us 3 augmentations from 1 ship. So that may be a factor. An S-class ship versus an A-class ship. It was more expensive by a lot. And what else? It was more expensive by a lot of the A-class. So the A was 1.2. It gave us 1 augment. This was a $20 million ship, and it gave us 3 augments, but we lost 6 million units. So that could be a decent trade-off. I'm not sure if that's consistent though. I'm not gonna say that's a consistent thing, that every time you buy an S-class ship you're gonna get 3 augments, because I'm not sure that's actually accurate or not. So you guys can test that out on your own if you're willing to spend that many units. But you know, that's a lot of money for somebody if you don't have a lot of money. So that's like when I recommended you starting out with 25 million, you know, you might only be able to afford 1 or 2 ships if that's all you can afford right now. So you could be mindful of that. Alright, let's keep it going. But you see so far, like all of the storage is starting to get filled up, like I tried to tell you guys earlier in the first video. The way I've been doing it, like of course I could be selling all my scrap like right immediately, and that's probably the best way to do it. Sell it as soon as you can. But Me personally, I try to do things like at a pretty meticulous type of way. I keep a lot of these like antimatters and wiring loom and stuff like that that I scrap or take away from the ship, pull apart off of the ship. So let's see. Some of these deconstructed or scrap parts, right? I like to see how much they're worth. Like this value is 3 million, so I might hold on to these. Let's see what else is around here. These are only 50,000, so I'm not gonna keep these. I'll sell those. I don't really care like how much of a negative value they'll have on the market, because they're not really worth much anyway, so it doesn't really make a big difference to me. But these go for 800,000 a piece. So stuff like this, that actually is, you know, if you really want to take the time to, you know, make the most out of your scrap, you should, that's what I would, you know, recommend or suggest if you really want to just be that technical about it. You see the most expensive scrap, you go, you know, into each section and just see which ones are worth the most, and then you hold on to them, put them on your freighter, however you want to do it, and then whenever you know, decide to go sell them off, or whatever system that has the best value for them, that's the system that you should save them for. So you should just hold on to them, take them to whichever system. If you're willing to wait, like if you just want the money right away, then go ahead and sell it. Like it's not really that serious. I mean, depending on, like, it depends on the kind of player you are. Like for me, like it's not that serious to me because I have a farm. I could get units easily. Like that's it's not really that big of a deal. But this is just like to even increase your value, because since you might lose so much profit from buying ships and scrapping them, you might as well make as much money back as you can. So that's pretty much the only way to really make back as much as you, or close to as much as you can from what you already lost. Like you saw how much value I lost from that S-class ship. I lost 6 million units. So to some people that's not really a lot, but to others that is a really significant amount of units to lose, just to, you know, increase your amount of nanites you have and amount of storage augments that you have. So, you know, that's serious amount of units depending on where you are in the game. So that's why, you know, depending on the player and how far you are along in the game and how consistent of a income you have. Like you see, my units are already at 8.4 million. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to sell some of the scrap to some, either, it don't really matter who you sell it to. You can go to the trade terminal or just sell it to one of these guys that come in here. Like I'm not gonna go that far to nitpick where, like, if I sell it here and then go to the trade terminal and see which one I'll get more money for. With these scraps, like right here, this, you're not really losing anything, 0.0%. So you're making whatever it was worth. You're making plus 22, so it's all different depending on the system you're in. Like right here, I'm losing 0.1% of my income, what I would have made if I was somewhere else, but I don't really mind, whatever. That's still 600,000 units. So plus 22 from what it was worth. Plus 5, what it was worth. Minus 0.5, so I lost a little bit on that. Ooh, this is a pretty significant amount, but I don't care. But yeah, stuff like that. You'll see, like, you know, that's why I hold on to a certain amount of like my most expensive stuff, because like eventually if I go to a system where the value of those are, you know, pretty significant, where I'm really making a profit off of it instead of just making a small profit, then that's the only time I will really want to sell it. But if you need money, just sell it. But this, you have to come to the trade terminal to sell what's on your freighter. So let's see how much the value of some of this scrap is worth. 0.1, negative 0.1, plus 0.3. Like, those aren't really significant increases in value. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wouldn't sell them in this system. Like, I would find a better system, because every system, they will pay, you know, differently depending on whatever they want. So let's see. I have some S-Class upgrades. You guys already saw the value of these. These are about 500 per. And what else? Let's see. I think I pretty much got everything covered. We didn't really find a new exotic. I came here to, you know, potentially find a new exotic, but, you know, we didn't find one. But, like, I'm not sure how long this video has been going, but check out the first video if you haven't already seen that one, and that'll basically, you know, start you off on the way to, you know, get this method started out properly. And I'm not sure if I missed anything. I don't think that I missed anything, but let's just go over the basics. Find a wealthy system. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's necessarily step one, but you need to find a wealthy system. Most people probably won't have this much cargo space. Like, I have all of my slots maxed out already. So if you are really like going to take this method seriously, then however you have the ability to unlock as much storage in your regular cargo, like this is your general inventory, I would recommend unlocking as much of this as possible, and your cargo as much of this as possible. Like what I did, I would go from space station to space station, and I would just go up to the top on this side, the side where you could scrap the ship, and right next to it is one of these terminals right here. And usually you only can buy one per terminal no matter what, so it's not like you can keep coming back to the same terminal, like if you turn your game off and back on or whatever. Whenever you buy one, it's gone. So I just was going from terminal to terminal, or space station to space station, and coming right here. And they cost money, it costs units, so be mindful of that. But you can always get the drop pod coordinates if you know where to, I mean, if you find drop pod coordinates you can either buy them. Sometimes you can buy drop pod coordinates. You can find them like that. I would not buy that, even though it's pretty much the same ship that I bought earlier, the S-Class. That was 20 million. This is an A-Class for 15. But I'm not gonna take the chance of I mean, I could experiment. Actually, I'll buy it just to experiment for the video. But anyway, yeah, drop pod coordinates, you're gonna you can use that to kind of help you get more inventory space. But look, we're gonna do this experiment for the video. We're gonna see if it's just the class, because we already had a feeling about prices, where the one that was 1.2 million gave us one module back, one storage augmentation back, and the one that was worth 20 million gave us back 3. So we'll see if price plays a role in that. But let me sell some of my stuff right quick, just so I can have enough to buy this right quick. But let's see. Let's see. I'll sell like a stasis. I'll sell one of my fusion igniters right quick. This is 16 million. And I actually sold it for 4.8. Actually, I might sell all these actually. Plus 4.8%. So that was actually a good, decent, you know, time to sell it. I'm not saying that's like the best that you can get for something in the system, but plus 4.3 for that at the moment, where, you know, I didn't have that many of them, and that was a pretty good sale in my opinion, because I made like more profit than if it was just 0. But anyway, now I can afford to ship. So let's see, let's make this experimentation, see what happens. So yeah, we bought an A class, which is pretty much identical to the S class that we spent $20 million on. So now we can test if it has to do with haulers. Like, do haulers just give more storage augmentations just because it's a hauler, or is it because I had an S class ship and it was because it was 20 million units? So we can test that out now. So this is an A class ship, $15 million, or 15 million units. I'm gonna say dollars. Y'all know what I'm talking about. $15 million right here. And this is 15 million. 15.5. It has 30 slots, so I'm not sure how much the S class had. You guys can probably go back in the video if you want to see what the S class had, because then it might be based on how many storage slots it had. But for now, we're just going to test if it's the value of the ship. So the other one was 20 million, this one is 15 million. They're both pretty much exactly identical, except this one is an A class and that one was an S. So we'll see if it's because it was an S it gave me 3, or if it's because it was $20 million it gave me 3. And then we'll see how many storage augments we get from this one, and then that'll let us know if it has to do with the class, the price, or the storage. So let's see how many we get back. So if we get multiple back, then it may be because of storage. That really might be what it is. So I lost about 5 million right there. I spent 15.5, lost about 5, 4, something like that. So let's see, we got what? We got no storage augments. Wow, that's actually very surprising. So price doesn't even play a factor in that, because you see, I just spent 15 million on an A class ship and I didn't get any augments back. So this is even more evidence of the theory that, you know, A classes and S classes sometimes won't even drop augments at all, and it doesn't matter how much money you spent, and it doesn't matter how much storage spaces was on it either. That's really another discovery that we just discovered on this video. I bought a $15.5 million ship. It was an A class, and it dropped no augments at all. Like, you guys can see all of these storage slots or no augments, because it would have been in my first store general inventory. So no augments, because I don't have any other augments on me. These are stasis devices, you know, because of course if augment would have dropped into my inventory, it would have dropped right into the inventory wherever it was. I don't think it goes to your starship, but even if it did, I wasn't even in this ship, which has all of my storage augments in it. So if that played a factor, you know, if say you're in this ship or whatever, there's no way you could be in this ship anyway, because you're gonna be selling whatever ship that you're selling, and that's gonna be the ship that your inventory would be in anyway. So even if they were to transfer you over to another ship with storage augments, and then somehow that augment went into that part of this inventory or something like that, I mean that yeah, I doubt that. I doubt that would be the case. So anyway, yeah, that just proves that no augments are in my inventory. And we just sold a $15 million ship and got no augments. So that proves that price doesn't matter. Storage units don't matter, because there was 30, and I'm not sure, like, yeah, because we sold a 1.2, or at least, yeah, we just sold a $1.2 million ship, and I got an augment from it. So price doesn't matter. I bought a 1.2, I got 1 from it. I spent 20 million on an S-class ship, I got 3 from it. So maybe it has to do with the class, because if it's not the price and it's not the storage, then it has to be the class of the ship. So S, maybe when storage and price play a factor, it's when you look at the class of the ship, or how many augments you'll get back from it. Because with the S class, it gave us 3 back, and so maybe there's just a percentage depending on the class. So if you have a S class and you spend 20 million and it has a decent amount of cargo space, then the percentage chance of you getting multiple augments back is higher than if you buy an A class first with a lot of storage space, with however much, like a significant price, and you may get storage augments back, but the percentage chance of you doing that may be less than if you bought the S-class ship, because you may get an S-class that's worth a lot, and let's see, you have the S-class is worth a lot with a lot of storage space, and that might not give you an augment. I'm not sure if I've ever come across an S-class that didn't drop an augment, but that could happen as well. I'm not sure, because you saw, when I saw my exotic, it was an S-class, I got augments back, I got 3. When I bought that S-class hauler over there for 20 million, I got back 3. So S-classes so far, the majority of the time I've sold S-classes, because like I can't, you know, accurately say 100% of the time, every time you sell an S-class you'll get an augment back, because I've been tested that out. But pretty much 95% of the time I've sold an S-class, I've got back some storage augments. So pretty much that's a new discovery. We didn't get an augment. We bought a ship for 15 million, and we didn't get any augments, but we did get the upgrades, so you could still stack up on nanites. And that's why I recommended that you choose wisely what ships you pay for. Like me, I can experiment because I have money to play with. Some people don't have the money to play with, so that's why if you don't have a lot of units, you should just buy cheap ships. This one was 2.2 mil. This was what, 1.5? You know what I'm saying? Buy the cheaper ships, because you saw with the 1.2, at least you have a high percentage, or at least a good percentage, or whatever percent. I don't know, high percent, good percent, whatever percent. You have a pretty good percentage chance of getting the augment from it, even if it's cheap. So it doesn't matter if you spend more or not. You still get the augment, whether you get 3 or 1 or whatever. You getting the augments, and you're saving money, and you're not losing as much when you scrap it versus how much I was losing every time I scrapped a ship that was worth a lot of money. So the $20 million ship, I lost 6 million units. The 15 million ship, I lost about 5 million or whatever, or I can't remember, but about 4 or something. So that's why, yeah, if you are early game or whatever part of the game you don't have a lot of units, man, just get these cheap ships, because you're still giving yourself a good percentage chance probability of getting storage augments, and you're always most likely gonna get at least one upgrade, whether it be, you know, pulse engine or warp, whatever, hyperdrive, who knows. You're gonna look how many I already got 2 from that ship, so I got 2 upgrades from that one ship. Let's sell this and see how many upgrades I get. And I didn't even see, we had no augments. Yep, there goes 1. I didn't have any from that other A class I bought for 15. So you see, the cheap ship gave me 1. The expensive ship didn't give me any, and it was 15 million. I only spent like $1 million and some change on when I just sold. So let's try this one. See how many upgrades we get. So we got 1. We got a couple. I think we got like 2 pulse engines. Is this a new ship? Yep, here goes another guy. Instantly these come in, like if you really sit down and do it yourself, they just keep coming in and out, in and out. You know what I'm saying? I've been letting some, you know, get away from me because I'm trying to, you know, show you guys the method. So, you know, this is really slowing everything down for you as best as I can. But once you get into a rhythm, this starts to just be like back to back to back. You'll start really getting a groove, and then you'll really be in the zone and just selling ships and stacking them, and stacking units and stacking upgrades. And what I should be doing is selling some of this scrap. So let me hurry up and come over here, just because I'm not really showing you my real like speedy. I'm not showing you like a speedy style of how I do it, because like I can do this way faster than I've been showing you guys, but I'm just, you know, trying to slow it down so you guys can get the best understanding of it as possible. But you know, I already told you guys why I like to hold on to certain things, certain scrap, so you guys already know about that. That's why a lot of my money is not coming back immediately or instantly as it could be. But let's get rid of some of it just so we can have money, because this is what you should be doing. If you don't have as many units as I have, this is what you should be doing, to always have units ready to buy the next ship that comes in. Just go in here, regardless. If you're willing to sell certain scrap, just sell it off, get what you can. Always have money available to spend. And some of these things come from scrapping ships, so you'll be like, well, where's my profit, or where's my where are the rest of the, you know, the value of the ship? Some of it comes in forms of these material or minerals, I guess you would say. because sometimes like I probably stacked up a whole bunch of chromatic metal. I probably stacked up some of this, maybe some gold. Let's see, a lot of this most definitely came from scrapping ships. This activated indium came from out of this like different minerals and stuff come from scrapping ships. So you'd be like, well, I don't see the value, or where did some of my money go? This is where it is. So if you decide to sell some of this, you'll still, you know, this is what some of the scrap was. But me personally, I'll just keep a lot of this because I can actually use it in crafting and other things like that. But this is where some of the money went. So if you guys are confused, like, well, I'm not making my money back or whatever, this is where some of your stuff is going to. So just keep an eye on some of your minerals and metals and whatever else, and then just make sure, like, if you're like wondering where some of the money has went, that's where it's going to right there. And actually, I'm gonna sell some of these right quick. I'm gonna sell like 18 of these right quick, just so I can make some room. Because those, I get so many of those. Let me see. Oh, whoa. Did I just sell salvage data? Or was that wiring on? I hope I didn't just sell salvage data. I'm gonna be mad. I think I just sold salvage data on accident. Wow, those look just like wiring rooms. Oh well. I'll just sell 24 of these. But man, there's a method on getting salvage data too that I found. So maybe I'll show you guys that video eventually one of these days. If you guys leave enough likes on this video, maybe subscribe and comment and all that, I'll you know, make some future videos if you're really interested in the content. So just you know, let me know if you guys would like me to do future stuff to show you other little tips that I found out, because you see how many salvage data I have. I found a method on getting just basically a limitless supply of doing this, and it's really easy too. So but yeah, so yeah, I sold some, got some of my money back. So that's for the people who need to basically always make sure they have money on hand. Just keep selling your scrap. All right, we're gonna keep you know, finishing. We're gonna basically finish up the video right here with these last few ships, because you guys get, hopefully by now you get the method. Like everything basically should be easily understandable for anybody who's been watching this video so far and have watched both my first video and this video. So we're gonna sell all of the upgrades that I have, and let's see how much nanites we get. I have 148,000 nanites right now. So from all the ships that I just scrapped, let's see how much we made. So 148, that's about what, 5,000-6,000. 148, 150, 1, 2, 3. So about 6,000 and some change just for, you know, and we haven't really been in here this long. This video has probably been going on for a while, but just take into the consideration on how, like, I'm walking you step by step versus if you were just to do this by yourself. Like, you would be going from ship to ship, buying ship after ship after ship, and you wouldn't be taking as much time as I am trying to show you guys how to do this the most efficient way. So the amount of time this video took to record versus how much time it's going to take for you to buy each individual ship and sell it and get the most efficient amount of nanites and storage augments from each ship, it's going to take you way less time. That's why I consider this the smartest way or method to get nanites and storage augments at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even sure what other methods there are out there to get storage augmentations, so somebody else might even have a video about that. But you're free, you know, feel free to go look for those videos if you want to just find other methods of getting storage augmentations. But this one is going to be, you know, pretty easy regardless. You know, some people, they know how to do glitches and stuff, so if you're into all of the glitching and all of that kind of, like, you know, duping and whatever else, you know, that's you know, for to each his own. Like, I really don't care for duping and stuff like that. Like, it's cool, but at the moment, like, I'm not really worried about it to the point where I need to do it. So that's why, like, I've been doing pretty well without having to dupe. Like, this is just a method that everybody can do, depending on, you know, how far you are in the game, how many units that you have. So it's the smartest method to me, and hopefully it'll be a really smart method for other people that don't, you know, duplicate or do glitches or anything like that. So for the standard player, this is going to be one of the best methods that you can actually do. That's the most lucrative, beneficial, and you most likely won't even find any other video on YouTube giving you this description or explanation on how to do this, because I've been looking everywhere, and that's the only reason I even made this video, is because I play No Man's Sky almost every single day, and I went on to YouTube and I went on different Google websites and stuff trying to figure out, like, you know, what's the best way for nanites, just out of curiosity, because, like, I realized, like, man, I've been stacking up so many nanites. Like, I'm like, I'm gonna go see if somebody really has the best guide to making nanites on YouTube. So I looked, I'm like, okay, everybody keeps saying the same exact thing. They keep saying to refine platinum into nanites, and you can have a farm of gold and silver, and you can refine platinum in the refiner into nanites. And I couldn't really find anybody, you know, telling anyone about this method of just going into space stations, scrapping ships. Like, the closest thing I saw to somebody saying going to a space station was somebody who said that if you have the units, you should go into the space station and buy platinum from different pilots, I guess, that come in here, because every pilot might have some platinum, and then you would just use the platinum that you bought to put into refiners. But, you know, that's not a bad idea. Like, it actually might even be a good idea to a certain degree if you're gonna sit in here and just go from pilot to pilot to pilot and just keep buying different platinum from them. And then if you have like 1 million refiners at your house, then you could just put all the platinum into each refiner, and then they'll refine it all in one sweep. You know, who knows? That might be a good way to do it. Like, I really never tested that out. But you won't be getting any storage augmentations. That's one thing for sure you're not going to get. And another thing is, you won't be able to, you know, potentially find whatever ship that you're looking for, whether it be an exotic or something, just whatever. You might end up coming across something that you really want. So that's another thing. And at the same time, you're making a pretty decent amount of nanites, and a significant amount compared to what I would say you're losing money by selling all that platinum. So you're buying platinum, then you're selling it, and you're losing money by selling it, because platinum is actually very It's worth a lot. You know what I'm saying? So why would you sell platinum? I mean, why would you buy platinum and waste it on making nanites when you can just take that platinum that you're either extracting or however you are coming across it and just sell it? You could sell the platinum and use those units to buy ships, because if you sell the platinum, use the units to buy ships, you're still going to be making nanites at a pretty decent rate, and at the same time you're going to be getting storage augmentations at the same time. And storage augmentations are going to come in handy because whenever you want to upgrade a ship, all those storage augmentations that you have is going to be significantly cheaper than if you would just have a whole bunch of units and then you just use those units to pay for storage space, which I'll show you right here. Just look at this. Whenever you want to upgrade a ship, you go to upgrade ship, right? And then you can either purchase a storage slot for 4,000 units, and the higher you go, the more expensive it gets. So let's just say I was going to buy one. That's 4,000 units. The next one would cost like maybe 5,000, and so on and so forth, and it just keeps doubling and whatever, tripling and whatever. So at some point, you see, I don't even have that many slots. So after a while, that's going to start to become way expensive, way more expensive. And with nanites that come in handy, if you ever wanted to upgrade a ship that you really like, you like the design, you like everything about it, that's where nanites can come in handy. There's other things that you could use nanites for, buying upgrades for your ships and different things, but you won't even need to buy upgrades if you find S-classes, because you'll be able to get them from scrapping ships anyway. But applying augmentations comes in handy, because for every augmentation you're saving money from having to keep, you know, spending more and more and more by purchasing storage. So, but that's pretty self-explanatory. Anybody who's ever used augments, they know why they're more useful than having to spend actual units on storage spaces. So feel free to share this video with some of your favorite No Man's Sky YouTubers, and please give me a shout out. You know, hopefully if they watch this video, they'll kind of give me some they'll give me, you know, a little shout out. They don't really have to give me credit. I don't really care. Like if somebody gives me credit, like I think I may be the first person who ever, you know, actually you know, did the experiment to, you know, come up with this method. And you know, I'm not a big channel, so hopefully, you know, people will be able to you know, see this method, and like somebody won't just steal my idea and then try to take credit for it. Like that would suck. But hopefully everybody, you know, got to really get a good idea of how this method works, and maybe you guys can improve it. I don't really know if there's even a way to improve it, but if you really are really like a real you know, nerd, and you know how to like really and I don't mean nerd in a disrespectful way, but just somebody who really can go into the analytics of stuff and, you know, do some what are those things called, like what's those little charts and graphs and stuff, you know, and put all the information in those little charts, and like you can compare information to whatever you find, your discoveries and stuff like that. You know, feel free to do that and just improve on this method, and then, you know, you guys can, you know, do whatever you want. Make as many units and whatever you want to do with all your upgrades, and go crazy with it. But that's pretty much the basics, and maybe even some advanced tips. You know, there may even be even more that I'm just not really am going to get into today. So, you know, if you guys find some new information, just you can check me out on social media. My Instagram is at Samir Official, Samire_official, which is SAMIERE_official at Instagram. Also, this is my YouTube channel, so if you guys subscribe, I would appreciate that for future content. I post No Man's Sky live streams a lot. Lately I've been posting every day, but I don't really post like tutorials and guides all the time. So if you guys want more future like guides and update, like tutorials on certain things, just give me some ideas of what you guys want me to look into, and then if I have the time to do it, I'll go ahead and show you whatever I discover. Or if you guys have anything that you have been trying to find methods for, like maybe finding salvage modules and stuff like that I already know how to do like easily, just send me some comments, and I'll like try to like respond to them as soon as I can, and then I'll try to come up with a new video for whatever new information that you guys want me to look into, or whatever like that, or that you want me to show you that I might already know. So that's the video, guys. I appreciate you for watching, and whoever chooses to subscribe or like my video, I appreciate you guys for checking it out. I know this isn't the greatest quality video, but I'm not really, I'm just starting out on YouTube. So as time progresses, I'll have like all those like intros and effects and stuff like that in the future, and we'll really get this ball rolling. At the more support I get, the more I'll be able to put more effort and stuff in, have some learn how to edit videos and all that, because I don't really know anything like that yet. And I do have equipment. I just gotta kind of figure out like how to set up my equipment and stuff like that. But like I have microphones, I have like an audio interface, I have the things I probably need is some cameras, maybe a microphone, because right now I'm using like some headphones. What else? So yeah, there's like I don't really have a setup yet. Some people have like the whole PC and everything. Like I have a MacBook Pro laptop. I don't really have like I do have like 2 desktops that I could probably try to set up, but they're not really like they're not really new. So I don't know if I really want to get really too serious about making YouTube videos until I really can get like a PC that's kind of like up to date and that has like some of the latest quality current programs and things that will be like really necessary to really put out quality videos consistently. So just keep your eyes open for this channel if you really like just you like how I approach my my style of explaining videos and stuff, and eventually when I start to learn how to edit, then you won't have to sit through me talking and just rambling and stuff like that, because I'll be able to just jump cut to me when I really have like everything like maybe written down or something like that. So I'm sorry that this video dragged out for so long, but this is pretty much just what I have to work with right now. I'm broadcasting from like PlayStation right now, and that's pretty much I don't really have like those some people have like actual programs where they have like stuff connected to their TV or computer where they have like a live stream or some kind of setup where they can just record and edit everything. So right now I'm just doing what I can with what I got. I got the PlayStation, I got the broadcaster, and there's no way I really can edit, or if there is, like, I haven't learned how to do that yet. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to give y'all the best explanation and description and all of that I can provide for you. And you see, like, there's not really much ships coming in now. So that's whenever you see something like that, that's a good sign that if you didn't find an exotic by now, it might be a good time to just leave and try another system. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that, you know, this method really pays off for you, because you saw when I started how many units I had, how many nanites I had, and you guys can go back and rewatch the video for whatever things that you missed. But you see right now I'm stacked up on storage augments, and I could have had plenty of upgrade modules, but I sold pretty much everything that I got because I have so many of them already. I don't need them. But I still have some scrap I could sell somewhere. Like let me go find my fleet before I end the video right quick, or I'll just bring the fleet here if I can. Let me see. I'll bring my fleet right quick. One moment before I end this video, just so you guys can let's see, just so you guys can see how many ships, you know, just because I can give you an even better in-depth preview of what how to really take advantage of it. So you see I have this exotic ship right here. So that's one that's already taken up space. I have 3 ships that take up pretty much 3 slots, and you only can have up to 6 ships. So my method is kind of, you know, slower compared to what somebody else could do. If they have a freighter and you only have 1 ship or 2 ships, you could speed up the process probably. But 2 ships is pretty much almost the same, because this 1 ship was the only ship that kept coming to the space station, and so it's going to take up 1 space in the space station. So that's 1 less ship that's going to be able to come in there. So if you only have 1 ship, then that ship you know, will basically be the only ship that they can keep at the space station when you start scrapping. So you'll have every space open for ships to keep coming. But I don't even think every space is occupied anyway whenever ships come in. I've never really seen a space, but it could be, because what could happen is you might get a wave of ships that come in, like maybe 3-4 ships that are all A-class cheap ships, whatever. You buy all those spaces, and those spaces will be filled, but ships will still keep coming until all the spaces are filled, even if you already have like a lot of spaces already filled full of ships. So you could have like 3-4 slots in the space station filled of ship that you just purchased. And if you already have, like, if you own 1 ship, like if you already own 1 ship, I'm not sure, you guys can go look to see how many spaces are in the space station for ships to land, but let's just say you own 1 ship. That ship is taking up 1 space. You might buy 2 or 3 ships, so that's like 3-4 spaces taken. But other ships will still come in, and you can own up to 6 ships. So let's just say you bought 3 ships, bam, that's 3 spaces taken. And then if you didn't have time, you see some new ships come in and they're good ships too, and you buy 6, bam, that's 6 spaces taken. And you know, so from there you're gonna have to sell, or you're gonna either have to trade some ships. But why would you need to trade if you're just gonna scrap them for the stuff inside of it anyway? So whatever spaces are left over, I don't know. I've never really seen a space station where every space was filled with ships. So that's another thing that, you know, you can look into whatever if you decide to do that on your own. But you see what I'm saying? We finally seen an explorer. Explorers are a little bit more expensive than shuttles and fighters, like I was telling you earlier. You see, these are like 6 million. They're a little bit more expensive, more pricey than if you were to get shuttles and fighters. So anyways, like I said, I was trying to go into step-by-step detail. Like, I think you guys got the gist of it. Go to Wealthy Systems, put an economy scanner on your ship. Hopefully you have a decent enough warp drive to get to whatever planets or systems that you need to get to. Make sure you have a pretty substantial amount of money. I mean, like 25 million, man. That's like an ideal, because you saw how much money I was losing. And since I like to save my scrap, or at least some of the scrap, and take it to better places to sell, that's why I wasn't making my money back as fast as I could have made it back. And then okay, what's next? You go into the space station, just chill in there until ships start spawning in there, or waves start arriving. And then as the waves come in, look for A-class ships and S-class ships, and try to find the most affordable ones if possible, because you see with the cheap one I got an augment from it, and with the expensive one that was an A-class, I didn't get any. But the S's consistently, they 90% of the time give augments, and sometimes more than one. And with exotics, they can just happen to spawn into the space station at random, so that's a good reason to even go to space stations. Or trading posts. I didn't really get the chance to demonstrate that in the video, going to trading posts, but that's a place where a lot of ships go to that place too, because there's like 2, 4, 7 places for ships to land there. So I guess if you have your ship, there's 6 places for other ships to land. So you can try out trading posts too, because some places are, for some people I've heard, they said that you have a pretty high % chance of finding like exotics or whatever on trading posts. So if you don't have luck finding any rare exotics and you want to keep trying in a certain system, then that's up to you. You can go to a trading post and try it there, or you can even try it on your freighter. Me personally, I have never seen an exotic or any kind of rare ships spawn in here, and I'm not sure if they do or not, so I'm not going to say they don't, or I'm not going to say that they can or not. But the only reason why I suggest and recommend being at the space station is because every time you keep buying ships, you're going to want to scrap them. And if you're at a space station, I mean, if you're on your freighter, or if you're at a trading post, there's nowhere for you to scrap ships. So you really need to be in a space station in order to keep scrapping ships and selling the scraps to keep getting your money back. And then you can go to those merchants, because I don't think at a trading post there's anywhere for you to sell the upgrade modules. And if you're on your freighter, there's nowhere for you to sell upgrade modules. So you need to be on the space station in order to sell upgrade modules and scrap. I mean, and yeah, to scrap your ship. You need